All right, Kenman here today. We are die project number 31, the Kubey Carve. I've got some weird thoughts on this one, getting right to it. Got them all hooked up. In they go. I'll talk as we figure it out. I'm trying to get a specific kind of a green that I've been having a hard time, if you've been watching in the past, struggling to kind of get a green. Right now I'm just trying to make sure there's no air bubbles. So when I drop them in there, if there's an air bubble on there, the dye is not hitting there the same, so it won't be consistent. So you make sure there's no air bubbles. Yeah, dye project. Boom. There's the playlist right there. If you want to check it out, this is the 31st time we're doing this. All have been successful except for 15, which we will get back to. I've tried a bunch of things. Long story short, we won't talk about that. Now, today, project 31, Kubey Carve. I'm trying to get this green. So my thoughts is I'm doing a few, of course, I turned that heat off. Perfect. Trying a few different things to try to get to a green. I've done off camera before. Where I did something and I wasn't quite happy with how dark it was, and then I did it a couple more times off camera and kind of got some good results. So when I'm starting off, this was a sand color, so that sand is going to definitely affect the color of the final product. The dye can only combine with what is already there. If the scale was white, that white would make that color brighter. This is tan, it will make it duller and more of that kind of, like if it was red, it would be more maroon, kind of adding that brown to it. Now that's really churning. So I'm trying to get this green. I have this candy apple green that's really light, and I have this dark green, and I've been struggling with my greens. This is supposedly a green, and the schemius, not very green. It does kind of have some green tones, like a green black. Great knife. Shoot. I am missing some other ones. This was yellow that I left in too long and it turned it green. This is the yellow that I'm using right now. So this yellow, I'm basically trying to shoot it full of as much yellow as I possibly can. Yellow with this tan isn't going to sink in very much. But, ooh, that's hot. By going yellow first, I'm kind of getting this as light and bright kind of a base as I can, so then when I hit it with the green, it'll kind of end up evening out, is what I'm kind of hoping for, if that makes sense. How's everyone doing? Yeah, okay, Kubey Carve. I haven't decided. I was thought about maybe doing a laser mark on that blade. Didn't really come with anything that I was excited about, so I didn't. I can always go back and do that, so it's not like something that has to be rushed and done. Okay, I am ready. We're going to try. I'm going to move this out of the way. Give these a rinse. What happens is the dye is very thick. And so when I'm kind of pulling her out and looking at her here, you can't quite see. It looks really, really yellow. And so when I go in here, it's going to rinse a lot of that off, and it's going to let us kind of see where we're at. Excellent. Okay, see what's happening? It's kind of has a green kind of tint to it. That yellow, this is good. This is an experiment, so I don't know if I want to keep going anymore with the yellow. I think we're good on the yellow. All right. Okay, so I am going to put these on this. Gonna move my, splash my water. Let's not try to get it on knives and stuff I've got over here that we might be able to look at later, but I don't know, because you gotta pay attention to what's going on here, and if we get a little crazy and I'm not focused, who knows? Okay, so this is hot. I'm going to pour this off into this jar. Sorry, I'm off camera a little bit there. All right. So I just got rid of my yellow Got a nice multicolored rag here. I'm going to get most of that dye out of there. And now, I already heated this up before, so it won't take long to get this hot. Now we're going in with my candy apple green. Let's get that cooking. Instant. I'm going to crank this up. It does not need to be boiling. The nice and hot. The heat activates the dye, so the hotter the dye, basically the quicker it can kind of soak in. You could put it in there at room temperature, and it would take dye. It would just take significantly longer. All right. Don't have to worry about the air bubbles as much now because they're already fully wet. So the dye should just start sitting on there really nice. Now we got to kind of pay attention. It's not hot yet, so I'm going to focus on as it's churning up. But what we do not want to do is wait too long. When you wait too long, that's when you start losing the green, kind of like this trifecta, this Migron Talisum. I did the laser mark on the blade, real simple little line. I kind of made that color, try to match, see the back spacer color kind of matches that. And then this is supposed to be kind of green, but it ended up a little dark. And then I did the titanium anodizing on the pocket clip. Kind of has a blue to purple kind of a color shift. There you go, blue, purple, blue, purple. It's really neat in when you're looking at it and right in front of you. It can be blurry at certain angles. It's kind of neat how it plays with your eyes. What we did is when we were doing the anodizing, right when it was shifting from blue to purple, we yanked it out. So it's right in between colors. It's called the transitional color. So you get a little bit of both playing off of each other, and it's pretty neat. It's pretty fun stuff. Okay, oof. Man, I'm running hot on these today. All right, there is a good example. I got some dye on my hand that you got to pay attention to that. Those little teeny dots of dye spread like crazy. If you didn't know it was on your hand and you went and rubbed across your face or something, you're going to get that dye there. And the longer it sits on your skin, the harder or the longer it's going to take for it to wear off. Basically, with dye and skin, that's really the only way to get rid of it. You can wash and wash and wash, and it may never just come off, but it will wear off after a few days. I had some similar kind of a thing like this where I was doing something else, and see there's dye in here kind of making it look like pee. I was sitting there rinsing and doing stuff for several minutes, and it was a blue. And that blue ended up really soaking into my hands. I kind of had Smurf hands for several days. So like you can even see on my thumb right here, it's getting some green thumb. So I want to wipe that off as much as possible. Otherwise you'd be watching videos of mine for the next several days with a colored finger. All right. I don't think it's ready for a rinse, but I'm going to do one. Shoot. Well, that could have been devastating. Imagine knocking my camera right into the water. That would have been great. All right. Wow. Okay. We are definitely green. I need to start thinking about making decisions. I like this though. And because it's black, it is going to look darker. I actually like this. I'm going to let them sit in here for a minute and I'm going to think out loud. Okay, these are definitely green. I was going to consider maybe shifting to the dark green and mixing that with it. But I think that we're not going to do that. So we might just put her back together. That's the neat thing about this experiment and this project is, I mean, if you don't like it, you can always put her back in and add some more. You can't really remove it. You can only make it darker, but that's why you kind of bring it out early and then you can always go back and add later. Little sip there. Okay. I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it. I have a feeling because of the black liners. Actually, don't do that yet. The black liners are going to make this look darker than it is. So, therefore, I don't want to push my luck. As I've said, kind of struggled getting a nice green. And right now, I think I have it. This is very interesting. I like a green and black kind of mix. It's kind of a good look. And I have, like I said, I've been struggling with trying to find a good way to get that green. I have several different ones that I've been trying, and I've been less than successful. Okay, let's get a towel here. What are we looking at? 11 minutes. Not terrible, Kenman. Was the one I had some issues with, so I went and did a little time lapse in the middle and sped it up. But I didn't know I was going to do that originally. I just let it keep going because I wasn't sure what was going to end up happening. So I kept talking. But then when I did the speed up, you remove all that narration that I did. So it's kind of one of those things. It's like, do you guys want to see that? Do you like it when I just go and do the whole thing and just stay live and you get to see it all happen no matter what, good and bad? Or would you like me to get to a part where I got it and dipped and I can just stop talking, hit speed up, time lapse it for a few minutes, and then jump to the next section? What does everyone think about that? Would you like to see it like that? Would you like me to just do it live? I would like to actually, if I get enough people, I'd be like, oh, let's do a Saturday night or Sunday, I don't know, whatever, someday, and do it live and actually be here. Although then I'd be struggling because I'll be looking at chat and talking to everyone. But I think that would be fun. If I get enough people, it would be something I would definitely consider. Okay, want to make sure these are really dry. Gonna switch to another towel. We are definitely, can anyone say that is not green? You can't. We're looking at a successful looking green. I'm pretty excited about it. All right. Although I'm not even gonna try. It says that this pocket clip can go on either side, but I kind of held it up and it's like square in here, around here. The pin goes there, the pocket clip goes there. Kubey's website does not say it is swappable, but on the Kubey store on Amazon, which is the Kubey store apparently, in their thing it did say that it was an ambidextrous pocket clip, which it is not. I mean, I could probably try to jam it on there, but I just don't think that is what they intended. I think it's just a right side only, which is fine. I have some knives that are like that. I'm going to let that dry for just a second here. Kubey, Raven. Look at that red. Wow, we're getting such a bright. The light's so bright right here, it actually makes it look a little bit brighter than it actually is. It's a little bit more of a dark, dull. It's kind of more like that. I really like the Raven though. This is a cool knife. Kind of has that flying V guitar kind of look. Very cool. That Kaiser Amicus button lock. Kaiser makes some cool stuff. Pretty happy with them. All right, this is dry. Let's put her back together. There's not a whole lot to this knife. It should be an easy. Don't jinx yourself, Kenman. Say it's gonna be easy and shouldn't be a problem. Then what? Okay, these are dry. I'm always extra paranoid and really want to make sure they're nice and dry. Any moisture could, you know, get in there and slowly corrode or something. I don't. All right. Kubey has a captive pivot. There's a little notch. There's a little divot right there. So when you put this in, that falls in. Is that the wrong way? No, that's right. Kidding me? Come on now. There. See how, hear that clicked into position. All right. Go ahead and slide that on. It's really nice that these frame pieces completely recess into the scales. It's a nice touch. Okay, we have a bearing. Boom. Pretty easy, right? Just that don't jinx it. Put that blade right about there. That pin is stuck in there, so we'll just hope that stays. Okay. Not bad. Ooh, this is very green. I'm excited. Successful green right here. I figured it out. I kind of thought, you know, that when I did the one, I was like, I wanted it lighter, so I threw it in some yellow for a little while, and it worked. Okay, so you got to be careful when you're putting a knife back together to make sure to pay attention to centering of the blade. Best way to do that is to not tighten everything down fully and kind of then make your way around and just pay attention. And it's not too difficult. If you do get her together and it isn't centered, you can always loosen it up and fix that. So it's not that big a deal. I like to get everything loose. Then I'll go to the pivot and crank the blade all the way down, pretty much as tight as you, or you know, just fully tight. It should be, if anything, that way or close to center, because when you loosen it, the blade's going to go that way, and then you want it to drop back to center when you loosen it. So we'll get that nice and tight. Oh wait, this is also T8 on this screw. Get that one nice and tight, and then it's a T6 on. I gotta be careful those T6s not to bump. You can really strip those screws really easy. All right, we are there. We're gonna go ahead now and loosen that just a tiny bit. Make sure that blade is centered, which it is. And let's get this stuff out of the way. We've done it at 18 minutes. I have successfully made it green handled knife. Happy days are here. Spilled some red on my towel. All right, here we are, everyone. Kubey Carve. See if it's a little stiff. Nope. Blade is solid, which is great. And it drops. Flipper works good. Ooh, this is another one that has just gotten better. Oh, you seeing that, everyone? That is so fun. I'm sorry, when you get a nice drop shut action like that. Here we are. Kubey Carve, complete, green, beautiful. Accents with the black, really nice. You got that Kubey pivot, says Kubey right there on the blade, little D2, really nice recessed spots. Little close-ups quick here. Really interesting angular shapes on the handle. That green really pops nice. What's everyone think? Very happy. Clicks shut, flicks out easy. Kubey Carve. Oh yeah. Solid. Those jumps right there, that little spot you can ride your thumb right into. Make some cuts. You can choke up on it, do some work. What's everyone think about this knife, huh? Fantastic look. Very happy. Kenman approved. Green. Oh, excellent. More dies coming in the future. More laser marks. The Scrimshaw stuff's happening soon. Going to be going to Blade Show Texas in a few weeks. Watch out for a lot of interesting stuff coming on the channel. That's going to be it for today. If you enjoy what you see, please hit that like button and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Helps me out, and I really appreciate it. Oh, yeah, that's great. Kubey Carve. Green. Stay sharp. We'll see you soon.